So on we go now to Brazil, Rafael Lozano and crew swan EBZ. Crew swan EBZ, another 4-star first-timer we saw yesterday, who coped very well with the Eric Winter track. 62.1 the two-phase score, sat in 28th overnight. Jumped a lovely clear round. Looked very bold, unfortunately taking that front rail on the Oxer at 1. This is a really exciting horse for the future for Rafael. Campaigned lightly internationally. I think this is its only 5th international run, but really showing class all weekend. Well, the middle part going as well there, so 2 fences down so far, 8 penalties as it stands. So the first 4s, and so does the middle section of the double. Looking like 8 penalties there for Rafael Lozano and crew swan EBZ. This 4-star first-timer. One to keep an eye on for the future. And talking of future, this young lady is another one we should take a note of. Matilde Piovani and Born West. Very, very exciting young Italian combination. On the score of 58.2, sat in 25th overnight. They did pick up, I believe, a missed flag at fence 15 yesterday, as did many others. But other than that, they looked so bold and brave round the cross country. Combination who've come up through the junior young rider ranks, produced a beautiful dressage test on day 1 of 32 and was sat 5th after the first phase, but unfortunately that back rail at 3 falling. Now round to the first double on the course. Nicely through that. Doing well to make it through the treble. So far it's just the one down at fence 3. But 2 fences left on this course. 12 numbered fences on this track, designed by Emmanuel Addis. Well, unfortunately, last fence goes. It's been the case for a few people so far this morning. So that'll be 8 penalties to add there for Matilde Piovani and Born West. Well, back to the home nation. We go to Roberto Reganelli and Jakarta de Mansi coming forwards. Jakarta de Mansi owned by Bergdavisci Mitchell. 58.2 the two-phase score, 24th after cross country. Another combination who've been together a while come up through the junior and young rider ranks together. And when they have, you can really see the connection between horse and rider. They know each other so well. Jumped clear on the cross country yesterday, just 45 seconds over that optimum time. Like we say, it was a tough time to get. Nobody made it inside the optimum time. First part of the double. And unfortunately that middle section going as well in the treble, so 2 down at the moment. Like the 2 fences fell there, 8 penalties will be added for Roberto Rigonelli and Ducato de Mansi. As our next individual rider coming forward, Contour Samrin and Begrim Billy Elmi. A really striking horse. Sat in 23rd overnight with a 2-phase score of 55.1. Another one who unfortunately had a missed flag at fence 15, the narrow corners yesterday. Other than that, we're looking superb around the cross country. Another 4-star first timer. Who has impressed in the first 2 phases so far. Contour, who became the first rider to represent Thailand in eventing at a World Championships when he competed at the Championships in 2022 in Pretoni. So far, so good, but down to this treble. Working well through that combination. 2 fences left now. Really exciting up and coming young horse. He's very smart in the first phase, made a couple of mistakes, but even so, ones to watch. And unfortunately that last fence falling, as it has for many so far this morning for Contour Samrin and Billy Elmi. So on we go now to Carlos Diaz Fernandez for Spain. 2 horses in this competition for Carlos. This time coming forwards first of all with Ottawa de Desi. 54.3 the 2-phase score, sat in 22nd overnight. Carlos, 2 very exciting horses in this competition. We'll see him later on with his other very smart ride at Tahe, who he led the dressage for a very large portion of time. Well, fence 2 falling there for Ottawa de Desi. Ottawa de Desi, just an 8-year-old. Only their second time at the 4-star level. Worked their way up through the levels very fast because they started their international career in 2022. And unfortunately another one falling there at 6, so 8 penalties as it stands. Round to the final two fences on this course. Really getting good air over 11. And managing to keep the last up. So 8 penalties there for Carlos Diaz Fernandez, Ottomar Dedezik. For another young up-and-coming horse. We've seen some fantastic young horses this weekend. Ones to really take note of. Talking of young talent, but this time we are talking about the rider, Matteo Orlandi, quality in time. Really exciting young rider for Italy coming forward now. 51.2 the two-phase score, sat in 20th overnight. Matteo and quality in time, the combination, who were 4th individually at the Young Rider Europeans here in September last year. Unfortunately, fence 2 falling there, so that's 4 penalties on the scorecard already. You're also part of the Young Rider team who took the team gold medal. So a happy hunting ground here, Montelibretti, for this pair. Jumped clear yesterday around Eric Winter's track, just 34 seconds over that optimum time. Very nicely through that through the treble, I should say, at 10. Round they go to 11 now. So it looks like the 4 faults there for Matteo Orlandi, quality in time. So we had a time in as well for Carlos Diaz Fernandez, our previous rider. 2 fences down, 8 penalties, but over the optimum time, or the time allowed is 77 seconds. 81.5 that was there for Carlos Diaz Fernandez, so 9.6 was their total penalties. Well, on we go to the lady who led after the first phase, Evelina Bertoli, Figi de Malise. 49.5 is their two-phase score, sat in 19th overnight. Just a lovely cross-country round. 49 seconds over that optimum time. The only rider to break the sub-30 barrier, 29.9 was their first phase score. That left them in the lead overnight, but into 19th after 2 phases. What can they do here in the show jumping? A little bit low over that first element, but got up over the other 2. Rattled again that back rail, just the final fence on course. Well, a clear round, a few rattles, but the fence is staying up for Evelina Bertoli, Figi de Malise. Big cheers from the Italian crowd there, and quite rightly so. So Matteo Orlandi's time is in. It was 1 down for them, and over the optimum time, 80.99 was the time. to Sweden. Henrik Oldnovik and Zam F join us in the arena. 49.3 was their two-phase score, having a little bit of quick footwork, a little bit of a look by the looks of it at fence 2, but clear there. Sat in 17th overnight. Just 31 seconds over the optimum time yesterday. Jumped a clear round. Combination who were just outside the top 20 here at the Nations Cup last year. Sat in 17th for the minute, so let's see if they can sneak inside that top 20 this year. So far, so good. Taking it on an angle over that Oxer at 9. And riding very positively into the treble, and it pays off as they're clear there. Well, a clear round there for Henrik Oldnovik and Zam. So until we get their time, we presume they finish on 49.3. Hopefully enough to edge them into that top 20. They were just outside it last year. Let's see if they can edge into it. Time in for Evelina Bertoli. Fiji de Melis. 1.2 time penalties picked up. 50.7. Their final score into 19th. So one of our fastest riders of the day yesterday now into the arena for France, Laura de Artola, 7 de Nouvelou, NHN. Well, unfortunately, fence 2 down. They were very speedy yesterday, only 4 seconds over the optimum time. Joint fastest with fellow French rider Luc Chateau. And they're not hanging around this show jump and taking a stride out there at 7. Still looking full of running after cross country yesterday. Got close to that second element, but managed to get their legs out the way. They're clear. How will they cope with this treble here at 10? Unfortunately, that second element going, just getting a little bit too keen down through the free elements. So on 8 faults as it stands, coming round to the final 2 fences on course. Well, 8 jumping penalties. We'll get a time for you shortly, but looking like a very keen 7 de Nouvelou NHN there for Laura de Artola from France. So a time for Henrik and Zamef, who we saw previously. Another one to pick up at 1.2 time penalties. That's 3 seconds over the optimum time. 50.5 is their total score into 18th. So much improved on their last performance here at Montelibretti in the Nations Cup. As we go to Italy, as an individual, another rider for Mattia Luciani, who we saw, I believe, our very first rider in for the show jumping today, but this time aboard Cantalotto. 21st after 2 phases, 51.7 the 2-phase score. Jumped to clear round yesterday, 34 seconds over that optimum time. Cantalotto 9th in the 4-star short at the back end of last year here at Montelibretti. Looking good so far in this show jumping round. battling and it comes down that first element. Getting quite keen down through the treble. A little bit of a stutter as they went into 11, so unfortunately unravelling towards the end of the course there for Mattia Luciani and Cantalatto, as a score is in for Laura De Artola. 12 jumping penalties there inside the optimum time. She did look very speedy indeed. So she will finish on 50.6 into 18th place. So to our final individual rider. Another rider who has 2 horses in this competition, Fabio Faniciotti, Bolt MCR. 48 is their 2-phase score, sat in 15th overnight. Bolt MCR owned by Renaud Marie Caroline. Jumped clear yesterday, 21 seconds over the optimum time. Just adding a stride down through that combination. Back round they head to the double at 8. Another combination who were just outside the top 10 here in the 4-star short last year, back in November. Bit of a tap, but it stays. And again at the last, better clear round there. Bolt MCR, Fabio Faniciotti, be really chuffed with that. That will work them right up the leaderboard as they're sat in 15th after the first 2 phases. So to the first of our team members now. Coming forwards for France, Mathieu Chambard, Big Boss Mello. 76.2 was their 2-phase score. France, of course, the team who are out in front in this team competition. Over a pole in hand in the front of Italy. As it stands at the moment after cross country, it's France out in front, Italy in second. Less than a pole between Italy and Spain, who are in third. And then Switzerland rounding out in 4th. But it can all change around this show jumping track. So far, looking good for Mathieu Big Boss Mello. Known to be very good jumpers. And they lived up to that today. A very useful clear round for the French team there. Mathieu Chambard, Big Boss Mello. 76.2 was their 2-phase score. Well, a time in for Fabio, who we saw previously. 2.4 time penalties to add, so 50.4 into 14th place. So now we go to Bill Levitt joining us with Hubbard's AC. 49.4 their two-phase score in 18th overnight. .40 seconds over the optimum time yesterday, jumped a superb clear round. Pair who were 6th in the Nations Cup here last year. Great job through that treble. That's caused a few issues. No trouble for Bill. Heading round to the final two fences on course. Lovely jump over 11. Met that beautifully. And kept the last up. So clear jumping there for Bill Levitt, Hubbard's AC. So on we go now to rider coming forward for the Italian team, who of course sat in second in that team competition, Alessio Proia and Gatto Saltadou. 46.8 the two-phase score, 13th individually overnight. Only 20 seconds over that optimum time yesterday. Jumping really nicely around this first half of the track. Taking that right-handed turn back to the double. A rattle, but it stayed. Clearly conscious of the time, taking an economical turn round to the Oxer at the far end. Gatto Saltadou, a really clean show jumper, and a very useful clear round in the bag there for Team Italy. They're less than a pole in front of Spain, so they want to keep these clear rounds coming thick and fast, just like that. Now that will fill the team full of confidence to already have one clear in the bag. As we head on to the team rider coming forward for Switzerland, Naja Minder joins us now. Victory Hope Tre, owned by Peter Attinger. 46.7 was their two-phase score. Sat in 12th place after the two phases. Just 21 seconds over the optimum time yesterday. And time in for Bill Levitt. He did pick up 1.6 time penalties. So 51 is his total free phase score and drops to 17th. combination who placed 5th at Barbaroko 4-star long last year. So 2 from home now, Najaminder. Unfortunately, 11 fours. So 4 penalties there for Najaminder victory hope 3. As another rider coming forward for Switzerland now, Felix Vogt, Cartagena join us. 11th place overnight, 45.1 their two-phase score. Cartagena owned by Phoenix Eventing and Felix. More time in for Alessio and Gato Saltadu. That clear round was very useful because they were inside the time as well, so 46.8 is what they finish on. And into 11th place. But back to Felix. Cartagena making a good job of this track so far. Combination with a wealth of experience. 15th at Badminton last year. Felix, of course, the winner of Le Moulin 5-star on his other ride, Calero, back in 2022. But he's not only had success in the world of eventing, he also competed in Swiss alpine skiing as a junior. He competed in the junior championships. So a multi-talented man, but lighting up the world of eventing at the moment, and 1 fence left. And a lovely round there from Felix Vogt, Cartagena. So clear jumping for Felix. As we go on to our second rider for France, the team who are out in front, looking to keep that lead, Luc Chateau, Igo de Capane. Luc, one of our fastest riders of the day yesterday, only 4 seconds over the optimum time. Nobody made that optimum time yesterday on the cross country. But Luke and Alora, who we saw earlier, both only 4 seconds over the optimum time. Superb round. Sat in 10th overnight, 43.3. If they can jump a clear, be fantastic news for the French team to have 2 clear rounds. They've already got 1 in the bag. This combination have a couple of top 20 finishes at the 4-star level. And they could make another one this weekend. Well, a lovely clear round there from our fastest rider of the day yesterday, Luc Chateau. Igo de Capane in 10th place after 2 phases. That means they'll go further up the leaderboard with that clear round, and that will be very useful for the French team indeed. Well, Najaminder's time's in, 5.6 time penalties, total of 52.3 into 17th for Switzerland and Felix Vogt. 0.8, so 45.9 is what he will finish on for the team, and into 9th place individually. Well, another important man now, this time for Italy. Fosco Girardi and U4 join us. 42 is their two-phase score, 9th after dressage. Oh, bit of a rattling it does fall. Both elements there are the double. So 8 penalties so far. Rubbed that second element of the treble, but it stayed. Combination who were 12th in the Nations Cup here last year. So unfortunately last goes as well, so it looks like 12 penalties there for Fosco and Youth Fori. And I'll get the time to you shortly. So we make our way to our final few competitors left to go, and the final rider coming forward for Switzerland now. Philip Bryan and then Sarah. 38.3 was their two-phase score. Joint, I know, beg your pardon, not joint, they were sat in 6th overnight. Not quite going to plan their offence too. Only 9 seconds over the optimum time yesterday. And 6 goes. He's won 8 penalties at the moment. Rattled their way through the treble, but it stayed. So 8 penalties there for Philip Bryan and Sarah. Final rider for the Swiss team. As time in for Luc Chateau, who we saw earlier, just 1 second over that optimum time, 77 seconds that time allowed. So 43.7 will be their final score, and they're into 8th place. So 2 great scores on the board for France as it stands. But we turn to Spain and the man who led the dressage for 90% of the competition, until of course right at the end. But it is Carlos Diaz Fernandez and Tahe CP2110. 37.3 is their two-phase score, just 17 seconds over the optimum time yesterday. Let me say led the dressage until Evelina Bertoli came in and went ahead of him. 30.5 was their dressage score. A very, very exciting combination for Spain. Well, unfortunately, the first part of that double going. So on the 4 faults as it stands. So 4 faults there for Carlos Diaz Fernandez, Tahe CP 2110. We'll get the time confirmed shortly, but not a bad score for Spain, who are in 3rd place in the team standings at the moment. So we'll go to our final 4 competitors coming forwards in this FEI Eventing Nations Cup. Emiliano Portali joins us now with Scuderia 1918 Future. They were 4th place after dressage. They've kept their position after cross country. 37.3 their 2-phase score. Just 14 seconds over the optimum time yesterday, but that's fence 3 falling, so 4 faults to add. Rattled the first, had to work to get over the second, but they made it happen over all 3 elements. Coming to the last on 4, and it stays that way. So a great job there from Emiliano Portali's Scuderia 1918 Future. A useful score there for the Italians. Talking of scores, Carlos Diaz Fernandez just having that 4 faults that we saw earlier, no time penalties to add. So 41.3 they finish on, and into 5th place individually. And a team total for Switzerland, they've had their 3 riders go 145.3. They were in 4th after cross country. It can all change in this final phase as we turn our attentions now to Esteban Benitez Belle, Utara AA 35-1. 36.6 their 2-phase score. 3rd place overnight. Want to be jumping clear to put the pressure on the Italians in this team competition. Rattled that second element, but it stayed. And unfortunately that last fence falls. You can see the disappointment there. Esteban Benitez Valle Utara AA 35-1. Beautiful round despite that last fence falling. And the time in for Emiliano Portali, who we saw earlier, picking up 1.6 time penalties, means a total of 42.9, along with that 4 faults, so 42.9, the final score into 5th for that pair. Well, on we go, final 2 riders now. For France, Maxime Livio joins us, Vegas de Besson, 35.6, their 2-phase score. Unfortunately, 4 faults there at fence 3. Rattled that first element. Got away with it though. So it looks like just the 4 there for Maxime Livio, Vegas de Besson. As we move on to our final rider in this FEI Eventing Nations Cup competition. The man who produced a beautiful cross-country round earlier on yesterday, Benjamin Massey. Figaro of Fonroy 35 was their 2-phase score. Now that 4 faults we saw earlier from Esteban Benitez Valle drops him into 4th place, pushing fellow Spanish rider Carlos Diaz Fernandez up into 3rd. And our Italian team totaling at 104.5. Now that 4 faults from Maxime does give Benjamin just a little bit of breathing room. He has 1 pole in hand. Well, the last 4s, but that doesn't matter because the rest of the round was clear. So as long as he hasn't got time penalties, we'll get the time confirmed shortly. I believe the win will go to Benjamin Massey and Figaro Fonroy. Benjamin there just waiting to have it confirmed. Maxime Livio's time has come in with his 1 pole down. He was inside the time allowed, so just the 4 penalties. 39.6 was Maxime Livio's total score. So he stays in 2nd, but we're just waiting to get the confirmation on Benjamin Massey and Figaro Fonroy. But in regards to the team standings, it looks like it's going to be a win for France, and it will be Italy in 2nd and Switzerland in 3rd on the FEI Nations Cup team competition. We just wait for this final result to be confirmed for Benjamin Massey and Figaro Fonroy, and then I will give you our individual standings across this weekend. It's been a fantastic weekend of sport. We've seen shake-ups in the leaderboard in every single phase. It really has been exhilarating to watch. Only 1 rider sub 30 in the first phase, in that dressage phase, and that was Evelina Bertoli for Italy. And then of course it was cross country day, and that caused the real shake-up to the leaderboard, with the French producing some fantastic rounds, some very speedy rounds, because nobody made the optimum time of 6 minutes round Eric Winter's track. Closest we had was our two French riders, Luc Chateau and Laura de Artola, both just 4 seconds over the optimum time. So they only picked up 1.6 time penalties. They were our fastest rounds of the day, and that really helped the French, because that meant that they moved up into team pole position after cross country. And of course it meant they moved up into 1-2 on the individual standings as well. They pushed Spain back, who were leading after the dressage, but our results have come in now for our individual competitions, and it was 1 down and 0.4 of a time penalty to add there for Benjamin Massey and Figaro Fonroy. So the top 10 to conclude this FEI Eventing Nations Cup individual competition. The win goes to Benjamin Massey, Figaro Fonroy, on that total of 39.4. Such a tight competition, because just 0.2 behind Maxime Lee, 39.6. Third, it was Carlos Diaz Fernandez and his super ride, Atahe CP 2110, 41.3. Another great round for Spain from Esteban Benitez Ballet Utara AA, 35.1 in fourth, 41.8. For the home nation, Emiliano Portali, Scuderia 1918 Future in fifth, 42.9. Luc Chateau there in sixth, one of the fast rounds yesterday with Igo de Cabernet, 43.7. Seventh to Switzerland's Felix Vogt Cartagna, 45.9. Alessio Proya and Gato Saltadou in eighth there, 46.8. Philip Ryan for Switzerland, Amansara, 47.10. Rounding out that top 10, Robert Paula Tosca de Casnego for Poland, 47.5. It's been a thrilling weekend of action here at Montelibretti, the first of 8 legs taking place at this FEI Eventing Nations Cup. We hope you've enjoyed all the action. Congratulations to France, especially Benjamin Massey, Figaro Fonroy, for seeking that win individually and the win as a team. We hope you've enjoyed all the action. I am Rosie Russell, who've taken you through all 4 days, and we hope that you will join us again for our next FEI in Nations Cup on FEI.tv, and that will be at Chatsworth in England on the 17th to 19th of May, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But for now, that's all we've got time for. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye.
Lecce è una città falsa, immota, ferma al 600 eterno, categoria del barocco, dove l'ozio e il capriccio ricamarono la sua tenera pietra. E dal puro invisibile nacquero i colori e cose avvertite ed espresse solo per un allarme preistorico. La lucertola in fuga contro l'enorme cosa immobile del cielo pitagorico. Nervature di dinosauri affioranti dal velo di terra. Terra del nulla, delle nudità, delle nuvole. Dove i tarantolati passeggiano sulle volte delle assurde chiese, insieme agli angeli. Non mi sono mai lasciato influenzare dalla logica del quando me lo metto, dove ci vado. Non esisterebbe la storia del costume se altri, nei secoli, avessero pensato così. La forma come sintonia, colori e tessuti che danzano assieme per creare un'armonia unica. Così trasformo il tessuto in poesia, il colore in emozione, e la forma in un racconto unico.
Alla sua nascita le dame di corte esplosero in un tripudio. È maschio, viva il re. Ma era una notizia falsa e dopo poco apparve evidente che il neonato fosse una femmina. Dolci ire, dolci sdegni e dolci paci. Dolce mal, dolce affanno e dolce peso. Dolce parlare e dolcemente inteso. Or di dolce ora, or pien di dolci faci. Alma non ti lagnar, ma soffri e taci. E tempra il dolce amaro che n'ha offeso, col dolce onor che da Marco ella ha preso, a cui io dissi, tu sola mi piaci.
The end of the world at the palm of my hand. When it all goes to hell, will you still be my friend? My face to the sea and my back to the land. If you can't come with me, I'll understand.
Sin da piccolo ero bello spericolato, ho amato gattonare bello rapido e poi quando sono cresciuto un po' ho iniziato a correre sul mio triciclo. Ricordo come se fosse ieri quando lungo il corridoio di casa nostra entravo poi dentro la cucina, facevo il giro del tavolo e poi riuscivo in derapata. Spesso mi andavo anche a scantare contro qualche divano, contro qualche spigolo, però mi alzavo sempre con grande entusiasmo. Per me partecipare a un evento ufficiale sulla Terza piscina dove non si corre dall'ormai lontano 1971 sarà una grande emozione, un vero onore per me. È passato mezzo secolo dall'ultima volta in cui si è corso su quel tracciato. E attraverso l'EMA Racing ho ottenuto un veicolo da corsa, una Renault Twingo Cup, con cui parteciperò a questa gara. È di fatto la realizzazione di un sogno, perché partecipare comunque a un evento ufficiale dove parteciperanno un sacco di piloti, anche titolati, gente che ha corso in Formula 1, gente che comunque ha corso il mondiale nei rally, è davvero emozionante. E spero di poter godermi questa opportunità. Io sono un esordiente, non ho mai corso su un tracciato urbano, sono consapevole che anche il piccolo errore può costarti caro. Di sentire l'emozione e di viverla fino in fondo, a prescindere da quello che poi sarà il risultato.